I was halfway through an episode of Rust Revival when Tessa walked right in front of the screen like it was nothing. She had that fake serene look on her face she used whenever she thought she was doing something empowered. She didn't even wait for me to pause the show. "Hey, so, I'm going on a personal growth retreat," she said, like she was telling me she was going to the store. I leaned back on the couch. "Cool. Where to?" She folded her arms and dropped the bomb. "New Mexico. It's an eco-ranch, kind of a healing journey thing. Breathwork, solar healing, sacred movement." I blinked. "With who?" She hesitated, just long enough to set off every mental alarm I had. "Bryce." "Yeah. That Bryce. Her ex. The guy she still followed on Spotify and whose hoodie she kept for sleepwear." "Not like that," she added quickly. Her voice going all soft like that made it better. "It's not romantic. We just both needed closure. We got a 2-person discount. Quick note. Before listening, share which city or country you're watching from." I stared at her, dead quiet. She kept rambling. "It's not what you think. We're just healing old wounds, letting go of past energies. It's totally platonic." I nodded slowly. "Sounds great. When do you leave?" Her mouth opened like she couldn't believe I didn't start flipping furniture. "Tuesday morning. You're okay with this?" "Sure," I said. "Have fun." She stood there waiting for some kind of explosion that never came. When she realized I meant it, or at least pretended to, she started smiling like I was the best boyfriend on earth. For the next 3 days, it was non-stop prep. She bought hiking boots, one of those ugly woven ponchos, and a bunch of gear that made her look like she was headed to a desert fashion shoot, not a retreat. Every time I walked in the room, she was watching videos on spiritual fasting or blabbing about emotional detoxing. On Tuesday, I drove her to the airport. She gave me a big hug at the curb like we were some evolved power couple. "You're seriously the most emotionally mature man I've ever dated," she said, eyes all glassy. "Thank you for trusting me." I smiled, leaned over, and kissed her cheek. "Have fun." She walked into the terminal like she was walking toward her destiny. I pulled away from the curb, glanced in the rearview, and smiled for real this time, because that was the last ride I was ever giving her. The second I watched her plane disappear into the clouds, I drove straight to U-Haul. Didn't hesitate, didn't need to think it over. I knew what I was doing. I rented a box truck, pulled it up to the house, and got to work. That place wasn't our home. She moved in 7 months ago. Every damn thing, utilities, lease, internet, couch, bed, silverware, was in my name. Her biggest contribution was a fake cactus and some throw pillows from a clearance rack. I packed my stuff first. Clothes, tools, PS5, the good plates, my TV gone. Then I started on her junk. Labeled every box. Bedroom Tessa. Bathroom Tessa. Random crystal crap Tessa. Stacked it all neatly in the living room, right where she'd see it the moment she walked in. Then I grabbed a yellow notepad and wrote, "Tessa. Went on my own growth journey. Realized I need someone who respects me. Your things are here. Lease ends in 2 weeks. Talk to the landlord. I'm out. No anger. No threats. Just the truth." I locked up, dropped the key in the mailbox, and drove to my new place across town. It was smaller, quieter, and actually clean, because she wasn't there leaving bowls of quinoa everywhere or burning incense that made the place smell like a hippie funeral. First thing I did, cracked open a beer, sat on the floor, and changed every password I owned. Netflix, Hulu, Spotify, Amazon, email, doorbell camera. Hell, even the smart bulbs. No more shared anything. For days later, I got the email. Subject line, "Are you kidding me right now?" The body was a mess of word vomit. "I trusted you. I feel violated. This is a betrayal. Blah blah." She said the retreat was a nightmare, and that she came back early because of spiritual turbulence. Apparently Bryce had a meltdown on day 2 and tried to lead a men's shadow work circle without asking the facilitators. I didn't respond. Didn't need to. My buddy Josh still lived in the neighborhood. He texted me that afternoon. "Josh, yo, just saw Tessa and Bryce hauling bags into the house. They look wrecked. like crying and yelling at each other. Me, she brought him back? Josh, dude, I think he lives with her now. Me, in a house I paid for. Josh, they're arguing outside right now. She's yelling that you abandoned her. He's yelling something about his ex kicking him out. It's a whole thing. I laughed so hard I almost dropped my beer. These two went on a healing retreat and came back more broken than ever. And now they were stuck together, no plan, no backup, just vibes and boxed up crystals. I leaned back on the couch, kicked my feet up, and grabbed another drink. The place was dead quiet. No mood music, no essential oil diffuser bubbling like a witch's cauldron. Just me, peace, and Wi-Fi she couldn't access. They were both spiraling in a house that didn't want them. And I wasn't about to throw them a rope. I was done. And it felt good. By Friday, my inbox looked like it had been hijacked by a conspiracy theorist. Tessa was blowing it up like she was writing her college thesis on betrayal. The subject lines alone were unhinged. You weaponized stability. Money is not love. My trust was not yours to exploit. She went from heartbroken to raging in about 3 paragraphs. I see now that you were manipulating me the entire time. You used your financial power to trap me. I'm literally housing insecure right now. You abandoned me in crisis. Then she threw this one in. Luckily, Bryce has stepped up to support me. Emotionally. Something you never understood. I didn't reply. Not even a period. I let her scream into the void. That same night, Josh called me, cracking up. Yo, he said. You're not gonna believe this one. Try me. So Bryce? The dude she's leaning on for emotional support? Yeah, he's been fighting with some chick named Lexi, his actual girlfriend. Loud. On the porch. I sat up. Wait. He had a girlfriend while doing the retreat? Yup. Lexi found out through Instagram. Tessa posted some pic of them holding hands during a trust fall ceremony. I groaned. Of course she did. Lexi dumped him, kicked him out. That's why he's crashing there. Dude's basically homeless. I didn't even need karma to show up. They were doing the job themselves. Next morning, I was drinking coffee when my phone rang. Unknown number. I picked up. Todd? This is Dana, Tessa's mother. Perfect. I just spoke to my daughter and I'm absolutely disgusted. You left her with no place to go. I took a breath. She's not on the lease. She's got 2 weeks. She made her choices. She thought she could trust you. Dana was full volume now. You took her in, let her build a home with you, then yanked it away while she was finding herself. Finding herself with her ex-boyfriend? She needed closure. She's healing. And you punished her for it. Is that the kind of man you are? I stayed quiet. She told me everything. About how you used money to make her feel small. How you wouldn't even fund her candle business. And now she's sleeping next to Bryce because you don't want to be a real partner. I laughed. Couldn't help it. Oh, you think this is funny? Dana snapped. You're just scared of her emotional connection with him. That did it. I hung up. Mid-sentence. Not even sorry. I didn't need to explain myself to a woman who thought her daughter was some kind of spiritual martyr. Tessa wasn't homeless. She was stubborn. There was a difference. She had a roof. She had Bryce. And now, apparently, she had Dana's full support in rewriting history. By Sunday, Josh texted me again. Josh, update. Bryce and Tessa screaming again. Think it's about rent money. Me, that's rich. Literally. Josh, Bryce said something like, I thought your ex was paying for that. Then slammed the door. Me, good luck to him. The best part? Tessa kept calling this whole mess her healing process. Yeah. Real enlightening. Set fire to your life, then blame the guy who moved on. I cracked another beer and watched the sunset from my balcony. Not a sound around me except the breeze. Meanwhile, a broke candlemaker and a dumped yoga bro were losing their minds in a house they couldn't afford because they confused closure with a free vacation. And now they were stuck playing house in a space that never belonged to either of them. I was walking out of the gym, still wiping sweat off my face, when I spotted her, Tessa, leaning on the hood of a gray sedan that definitely wasn't hers. arms crossed, eyes locked on me like a hawk on a field mouse. She'd been waiting. "Hey," she said, standing up straight. "Can we talk?" I didn't break stride. "You've been standing out here?" "For 2 hours," she said. "I didn't know when you'd be done." I kept walking toward my truck. She followed, heels clicking fast on the pavement. "Todd, I'm serious. I need help." I opened the driver door, threw my gym bag in. "Not my problem anymore, remember?" "Don't be like this," she snapped. "I'm out of options. I have nowhere to stay. You know that." I turned and looked her dead in the eye. "You had options. You burned them." She folded her arms again, voice softer now. "I'm not asking for forever, just until I figure things out. You know, I'm trying to build something with the candle business. I just need a place to land. You haven't worked in 6 months, Tessa. You've sold 0 candles. You don't even have a business license." Her face tightened. "That's not fair. I've been in creative development." I snorted. "You've been in denial." She took a breath like she was about to launch into some TED Talk on inner power. "Nothing happened with Bryce. Okay? It wasn't like that. We meditated. We processed our past. It was detoxing. Emotional detoxing." "Cool," I said, pulling my keys out. "Then go detox at his place." Right on cue, I heard the sputter of a struggling engine behind us. Crusty blue Subaru. Faded bumper sticker that said, "Love is radical." "Bryce." He rolled down the window. "Yo, hey man." I raised an eyebrow. "You're seriously trying to be friendly right now?" He got out, hands up like I was a wild animal he didn't want to spook. "Look, I get it, okay? But maybe you could just be a little less hostile. We're all on different journeys here." I laughed. "You picked her up from a retreat you went to with your girlfriend, who dumped you, by the way. So now you're crashing at her ex's place? And I'm the problem." Tessa jumped in. "I thought he invited me to stay." "That's what you said, Bryce." Bryce turned, totally caught off guard. "Wait, what?" "No. I said you could crash for a night if things were rough. That's not a lease agreement." "You told Lexi I was your soul mirror," she shouted. "I was high, Tessa." They were fully going at it now. Right in the middle of a 24-hour fitness parking lot. She shoved his shoulder. "You told my mom I was moving in with you." He stepped back, hands still up. "Because you told your mom that I invited you. You told everyone." I started backing away, already done with the whole circus. "Todd, please," Tessa called after me. "Don't just walk away. You dragged me through enough." I said, "Let Bryce figure it out. He's enlightened, right?" Bryce pointed at me. "That's real mature, man." "Yeah," I said, sliding into my truck. "Then handle your grown-up problems without camping in my driveway." I started the engine. They were still arguing behind me as I pulled out. Her voice sharp, his voice defensive. The whole thing spinning into chaos again. Let them deal with each other. I'd done my time. Saturday morning, I was halfway through frying eggs when my Ring app started blowing up. 6 alerts, then 8, then 12. Constant motion at the front door. I checked the live feed and damn near dropped the spatula. There was a U-Haul parked halfway on my lawn. Standing on my porch was the full circus. Tessa, her mom Dana, her younger sister Kayla, Bryce, and some tall girl in a poncho I'd never seen before. They were ringing my doorbell like it was a panic button. I hit the speaker. "Get off my property." Tessa stepped closer to the camera. "Todd, we just need to talk. I'm not here to fight." Dana leaned in behind her, already yelling. "You are ruining her future, Todd. Do you even understand what you've done to her? She gave you everything." Kayla jumped in. "You're being heartless. Like actual psychopath behavior." "I told you all," I said, calm as I could manage. "This is my house. You're not welcome here." Then the poncho girl, Harper, apparently scooted into frame and started waving some kind of bundle around. "This space is radiating blocked masculine energy. We're just trying to realign it." I blinked. "You're waving sage on a Ring cam?" No response. Just more doorbell spam. Then Bryce stepped up like we were old teammates. "Bro, come on. Just let her grab her stuff." She's got nowhere to go. She already has her stuff. I snapped. And if you care so much, let her live with you. His smile faded. It's not that simple. I'm kind of between spots right now. Then you all need to get off my steps before this becomes very simple. Tessa started crying then, like full sobs. I loved you, Todd. I gave you everything. I supported you emotionally. I decorated that house. I poured myself into that home. I hit the mic again. You used my money for that decor. And you cooked dinner maybe twice. Once was just microwaved lentils. Dana shrieked. She built your domestic environment. I was done. Try the cops then, I said. Because that's who I'm calling next. That finally shut them up for half a second. Tessa hiccuped through tears. So that's it? You're just gonna abandon me? After I helped you grow. I stared at the screen. She was shaking now, trying to keep the breakdown dramatic. This is legal harassment, I said. Leave, now, or I file a report. They froze. Bryce backed up first. Harper lowered her sage. Kayla threw up her hands like I was the crazy one. Dana turned toward the others. Let's go. We're wasting time. Tessa stayed frozen, shoulders trembling, but she finally stepped back. As they walked down the driveway, I heard Bryce snap. I told you this wouldn't work. Dana fired back. Well, maybe if you had an actual apartment, we wouldn't have had to come here. I muted the audio, grabbed my eggs off the stove, sat at the kitchen table and ate in silence while the last bit of sage smoke blew off my porch like a bad joke. They came to ambush me like it was some intervention for being logical. All they did was prove I made the right call. That night, Sunday, 9:12 p.m. exactly, I got an email from Tessa titled, Exclusive Opportunity. Let's build something beautiful, Dizzy. I should have deleted it. Instead, I opened it like an idiot. Inside was a full pitch deck, if you can even call 4 poorly formatted pages a deck. She wanted me to invest in her candle company. Company name? Soul Flame by Tessa. Mission? To light up dark spaces with the warmth of intuitive femininity. Ask. A founder's investment to cover exactly 3 months' rent at her new dream studio apartment. In exchange, I'd get 10% equity. I didn't reply. I forwarded it to Josh with the subject line, Read this and end me. He responded 10 minutes later. She's lost it. Soul Flame? Bro. No. I was still laughing when Monday punched me in the face. I was in a meeting when my boss leaned over and whispered, Hey, heads up. Your ex sent me a message about a candle business? I blinked. She what? He pulled up his phone and read it out loud. Hello. This is Tessa, founder of Soul Flame. As a former partner of Todd's, I'd love to invite you into a circle of intention and financial empowerment. Candles are available for pre-order. I damn near spit out my coffee. She's ambitious, my boss said with a smirk. By lunch, 3 more coworkers had gotten the same message. One client, even my old college professor. She was DMing everyone on my LinkedIn. I checked the GoFundMe link she attached to some of the messages. Title, Escape Financial Abuse. Goal, $2,000. Total raised, $42. Donors, Dana, $40. Harper, $2. I scrolled through the description. She claimed I weaponized capitalism to suppress her creative identity, that I withheld essential resources, and financially isolated her from community. She even included a photo of one of her candles. Lumpy, crooked, and burning uneven. Looked like a sad wax potato. I didn't say anything. I didn't reply. I didn't need to. The group chat was on fire. Josh, my girlfriend, saw her TikTok. She's calling herself a survivor of entrepreneurial sabotage. Me, I need bleach for my brain. Josh, Harper posted a story tagging your house. Said you're the face of corporate patriarchy. That part pissed me off. My address? Public now. I locked down my socials. Deleted LinkedIn. Called my landlord just to give him a heads up in case they tried some weird spiritual squatters protest or whatever. By dinner, Tessa posted an emergency candle sale on her story. Buy one, get one energy reading. Whatever the hell that meant. That was the moment I realized. This wasn't just about me anymore. She was running some kind of ego tour and I'd just been the launchpad. Let her go viral. Let her have her made-up trauma and broken wicks. I had bills paid, peace of mind, and no more fire hazards in my living room. That was more than enough. Wednesday morning, I walked into small claims court with a coffee in one hand and zero nerves. Tessa was already there, standing by the window like she was about to read a poem at a college open mic. She wore some kind of shawl that looked like it came out of a witch starter kit. Harper was right next to her, holding a ring light and what I think was a journal labeled Truth Speaker. No lawyer. Tessa was representing herself. I sat down in the defendant's seat and glanced at the paperwork again. Claim: emotional compensation due to spiritual breach and domestic labor imbalance. Filed under domestic partnership dissolution. She wasn't suing me for money I owed. She was suing me for vibes. Judge came in, older guy, probably mid-60s, no-nonsense type. Sat down, looked over the file, and sighed loud enough for the whole room to hear. "Miss Jacobson," he said, flipping the pages. "You're asking for emotional compensation because you felt unsupported during a personal awakening?" Tessa nodded like he'd just nailed it. "Yes, Your Honor. Todd abandoned me at a critical moment of emotional growth. We shared not just a space, but intentions. I provided spiritual stability, interior design work, domestic guidance. Did you share a lease? No, but were you married? No, but we were in a sacred union and..." He held up a hand. "How long did you live together?" 7 months. He turned to me. "Mr. Harper, what happened?" "She went on a retreat with her ex. I moved out while she was gone." The judge sat back, stared at both of us. "Let me be clear. You moved out of your own house, correct?" "Correct." "She wasn't on the lease?" "Nope." "And she was on vacation with another man when you left?" "Spiritual retreat," Tessa corrected. "With emotional detoxing, not romance." Judge didn't blink. "Case dismissed." Just like that. Tessa looked stunned. But I gave him emotional labor. I infused that space with nurturing energy. I made vision boards for our future." The judge pointed at the exit. "You can file for a reality check on your own time. Next case." I stood, nodded, and walked out before she could say anything else. Outside, Harper already had the ring light set up and was filming. Tessa stood on the courthouse steps, hair blowing like she was in a perfume ad, ranting to no one in particular. This is what the patriarchy does. It gaslights emotional equity. This is vibrational oppression. Harper panned the camera back dramatically like they were filming the final scene of a documentary. I kept walking. Josh texted me 10 minutes later. "Josh, you're on Tessa's Instagram." Caption says, "Silenced but never defeated." Me, "How many views?" Josh, 18. 13 are from accounts with Dana's name and number combos. Me, "Unreal." At that point, it was just background noise. They could hashtag whatever they wanted. My name was cleared, legally and otherwise. They came to a court of law trying to win on vibes. I came with receipts and left with peace. Thursday afternoon, I was eating lunch at my desk when my phone lit up with a call from Rick, my old landlord. "Hey man," he said. We've got a situation." I already knew. "Tessa?" "Yep. She changed the locks." I sat back. "She what?" "Says she has tenant rights now. Said you abandoned the property. And she has a lease." "She never had a lease," I said. "Everything was in my name." "I know," Rick said. "Wanna hear the best part?" "Hit me." She handed me a printed lease agreement with her name on it, spelled Tessu. Like, bitch. Looked like she made it in Word. I laughed out loud. "You're kidding. Wish I was." She even tried to highlight it like it was a legal brief. I rubbed my forehead. "All right, power's still in my name, right?" "Yeah." "Good. I'll handle it." 30 minutes later, I called the utility company and had everything shut off. Gas, electric, water, all of it. Completely legal, since the account was mine and the lease was ending anyway. An hour after that, my phone rang again. Unknown number. I picked up. Hello. You need to turn the power back on. It was Kayla. Of course. Not happening, I said. She can't run her business like this. What business? The candle company. You're ruining her launch. She's squatting. With fake paperwork. You can explain that to the cops. You're sick, she hissed. You're actually sick. Click. At this point, I figured the next step was either a viral protest or someone setting up a tent in the yard. Instead, I got a text from Rick at 9:47 p.m. Rick, cops are here. You might want to sit down for this one. I called him right away. What happened? She refused to leave. Said she was a spiritual resident. Tried to argue with the cops about energy contracts. You're joking. I'm not. Then she pulled out a bundle of incense and lit it in the back of the cruiser. Said it was to cleanse the consequences of male manipulation. I covered my mouth to keep from laughing too hard. She lit it in the car? Oh yeah, they flipped. One of the cops almost cuffed her just for that. She's lucky they didn't book her for obstruction. She gone now? Yep. Police escorted her out. House is finally empty. Thanks, man. Rick sighed. I've been doing this 22 years. Never seen anything close to this. Same, I said. And I dated it. We hung up, and I sat there in the dark, staring at my phone, shaking my head. She changed the locks, printed a lease with her name misspelled, tried to cleanse legal consequences with incense. You couldn't write this stuff if you tried. Stopped being sad a long time ago. Now it was just straight up ridiculous. And luckily, I was done being part of the cast. 2 weeks later, it was finally quiet. No emails, no ring alerts, no spiritual eviction attempts. Tessa had moved back in with her parents in Fresno and started telling people she was on an anti-capitalist retreat. Sure, that's one way to spin getting kicked out of 2 houses in a month. Josh sent me screenshots from her new Instagram account at Rooted by Tessa, where she now sells healing bundles and conscious bath salts. The captions were gold. One of them said, FDA doesn't own the soul. Harper's still tagging her in every story. Kayla's reposting every quote card about the sacred feminine being crushed by commerce. I got one last email from Dana. Subject line, closure and regret. The body? Tessa was planning to propose to you at the retreat. Bryce was helping her pick the ring. I read that line 3 times, then again out loud. I actually said, "What the hell?" into my empty kitchen. Didn't reply. I was too busy living my actual life. Met Brooke at a barbecue the weekend after the court mess. She was cool, funny, worked in marketing, had her own car and a 401k. She brought over ribs and didn't try to smudge my living room. Last night, we were watching a movie on the couch when she turned to me, dead serious, and said, "Want to go on a healing retreat to Napa?" Then she lost it laughing. Yeah, she gets it. Best part? Ran into Bryce at a gas station off Highway 99. He looked rough. Same busted Subaru, windows down, back seat full of camping gear and trash. He waved like we were buddies. "Hey man," he said. "Sorry about all that. Tessa tried to get me to invest in the candle thing too. I said I'd rather get high and look at clouds." I laughed. No hard feelings. He nodded, bought a slushie, and drove off. Honestly, I meant it. No hard feelings. Because whatever that whole mess was, Tessa, Bryce, Harper, the full chakra circus, it's behind me now. I've got a solid place, a girl who doesn't speak in crystals, and finally, peace. Oh, and the water pressure here? Unreal.